You're listening to Eating for Eden, Episode 12. When it comes to doing something about climate change, your food choices matter. Thanks for tuning in to Eating for Eden, a podcast that takes a food-first approach to climate action. I'm your host, Jessica J. Schroeder, and I am passionate about food that tastes good and does good. I'll guide you with practical tips and help you thoroughly enjoy your food along the way. In order to stick to anything, you need to have a powerful why. In fact, even to begin something, you need a powerful why. And by beginning something, I even mean making a one-time choice, such as purchasing a product. This is evident in the business world. For example, companies that have their own compelling sense of why and get potential customers to resonate with that why have better sales and brand loyalty. But this idea goes far beyond business into habit formation and other areas of personal life as well. Having or lacking a powerful why is a primary difference between those who change and those who don't. Those with a powerful why are driven. They're compelled. Those without one don't have as much internal momentum driving action. They tend to remain more static, more likely to get stuck in ruts or particular norms. So what specific relevance does this concept have of having a powerful why have to taking a food-first approach to climate action? Well, without a powerful why, one, you'll have a difficult time getting started making any sorts of changes to the way you eat, and two, you'll have an even more difficult time building habits that will stick. On the positive side, if you do have a powerful why, that will propel you forward. It will enable you more seamlessly to connect your thoughts, desires, and values to practical, everyday action. It is more likely that you will live in alignment with what you espouse. It will be easier for you to form new habits and make incremental changes that will be sustainable over the long term. Sound good? I think that sounds pretty good. We all know the feeling of having an idea that sounds nice and inspiring only to fail to take action, or the feeling of starting something new with a spurt of energy only to have it fizzle out before long. We go back to life as normal instead of feeling enabled to shape a new normal. The difference between this all too common experience and real change lies in having a powerful why. I draw this extremely simple and yet deeply profound insight from a 2009 TED Talk by Simon Sinek called How Great Leaders Inspire Action, linked in the show notes for your viewing pleasure. Sinek begins by drawing 3 concentric circles. The outermost circle holds the word what. Moving inward, the second says how, and the innermost circle is why. What Sinek discovered is that most businesses begin from the outside, starting with their what and move inward. But the outliers, those who are the most successful, those who really connect with their customers, are those who do it the opposite way. They start with their why. He gives the example of computer companies. He highlights Apple, a company that has long been operating from the place of starting with a strong why. Beginning with the example of starting from the outside, with the what, he says, if Apple were like everyone else, a marketing message from them might sound like this. We make great computers. They're beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. Want to buy one? For contrast, he highlights how Apple actually communicates. Listen to the difference. Everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. We just happen to make great computers. Want to buy one? Totally different, right? The essential difference here is the power of starting with a compelling why. The clarity, direction, and momentum that come as a result ripple out into the how and the what. To help unpack this in light of a food-first approach to climate action, if you're considering making some changes to how you eat, here's what it could look like to to start with the what, moving from the outermost circle inward. What? I want to eat more plants. How? I'm going to try meatless meals before dinner. Why? I've heard it's better for my body and the planet. That doesn't sound like it will take you very far, does it? Now listen to the difference of starting with the why, a powerful why, moving from the innermost core out. Why? I watched this compelling documentary about how much cows are affecting climate change. How? If we didn't eat cows, the global emissions from food, not to mention land and water use, would be significantly reduced. What? I'm going to stop eating beef. What do you hear? I hear clarity. I hear conviction. Here's another example, starting with a different why. Why? My dad almost died from a heart attack last year. The doctor said my siblings and I are at risk for cardiovascular disease as well. How? I can reduce my risk by omitting rich sources of saturated fat and dietary cholesterol from my diet. What? I'm going to avoid all red meat and poultry, try eating fish a few times a week, and emphasizing plant protein and whole grains, in addition to fruits and vegetables. Powerful, personal, compelling. To start taking action and keep taking action, you need to have a powerful why. Since you're listening to this podcast, your why may be caring for the environment or, quote, doing something about climate change. But it may not be. Even if you do care about this issue, that doesn't mean it's the primary or deepest reason you want to eat more plants. Maybe, like me, you first got curious about plant-based eating for health reasons. In my own journey, learning about the environmental benefits of plant-based eating simply added to my reasons for doing it. It confirmed the trajectory I was already on. It gave me firmer resolve and added layers to my personal why. Health still lies at the center of my food choices. If I had to name what was primary, perhaps that would still be it, with the environmental concern as a very close second. I've heard countless stories over the years about people who decided to make a change to how they eat, exercise, or otherwise construct some part of their lives. In all cases, where someone made a drastic life change, there was some powerful inciting moment or mindset shift that preceded the change. With that typically came a powerful why, an internal and deeply held sense for why that change or shift was important, what it meant, what it made possible, or what it protected them against. I'm not saying that you need to have a massive inciting incident like watching a parent nearly die from a heart attack. If you haven't, consider your values. What kind of mindset shift might you be capable of making when considering what matters most to you? You might even ask yourself, what about plant-based eating resonates with you most? You might consider even a smaller subset of a larger issue, so getting more specific. For example, rather than thinking about climate change or health in broad strokes, maybe your why is linked to your love for snow sports and not wanting to see the ski season shorten. Maybe it's about minimizing your risk for Alzheimer's or cancer. Maybe it's about caring for the poorest around the world who are on the front lines of climate change impacts. Regardless of the specifics, clarifying and tapping into your sense of why to motivate and drive your decisions is an essential ingredient to sustained, meaningful action over time. Here are a few other questions that you can consider to help you to find your why. And not that any one particular answer will give you your why, but the way you answer these questions will move you toward discerning either an overall theme or something specific that stands out to you as you work to form your personal why. Why do you even care? Why do you care about what you eat? Or why do you care about climate change? Why are you listening to this podcast? Where would you like to be in 5 years, 10, 15 years? What kind of a person do you want to be in your 80s or in your 90s? Why are you interested in either or both eating more healthfully or caring for the environment? How do you want your lifestyle to impact, lead, or otherwise affect your family, your friends, your community? I encourage you to think about this. Spend some time getting to the heart of what your why is and what makes it compelling to you. State it in one simple sentence. Consider writing it on a sticky note or a piece of paper and putting it on your fridge or somewhere else prominent to keep it front of mind as it continues to sink in. As Simon Sinek sets up his TED Talk that I mentioned at the start, he explains that Apple has access to the same resources that other companies do, the same talent, technology, consulting firms, media, etc. How is it that they continually outperform their competition? How are they so innovative? Well, I imagine you already know the answer by now. It comes down to the power of starting with and knowing their why and communicating it well. My point in bringing up this initial question from Sinek's TED Talk is this. He highlights that Apple wasn't somehow magically poised to be more successful in ways that their competitors could not emulate or learn from. They didn't have some kind of advantage that was unachievable by others. The same goes for all of us. If we look around and see people who are running ultra marathons, successfully quitting smoking, earning an advanced degree, starting a business, losing weight and keeping it off, fostering positive friendships, or, I don't know, even changing their ways of eating, what they are accomplishing likely starts with a deep-seated and powerful why. But hear this, they don't have something that's off limits to you. You, too, can discover your why and let it become the powerful force behind the positive change you hope to make. We all have a why somewhere within us related to plant-based eating and/or caring for the environment. We may just have to do a little bit of work to tease it out and place it in front and center of our thoughts. Once you are armed with your powerful personal sense of why, that's what will help you initiate and keep you going as you start where you are, do what you can, and build from there. If you have questions or topics you'd like me to address here on Eating for Eden, I'd love to hear from you. Send an email to edenandme@substack.com. Also, if you've been enjoying this podcast, please consider leaving a review. It's a great help for getting these important words out to others. Finally, become an email subscriber on Substack to have new podcast episodes delivered directly to your inbox. If you want to support the show, you'll even have the option to receive monthly exclusive recipes, episode transcripts, and more by becoming a paid subscriber. That's all for now, friends. Until next time, be well. Thanks for listening to Eating for Eden. If you found this episode informative or inspiring, please consider sharing it with a friend. Climate change is an issue we all need to tackle together, so let's invite others to journey along with us as we continue the conversation and start taking action. Until next week, friends, take care.